I really want people to understand this part. To death did us part. Please understand that. Please do. Because some narratives will not include that in that situation. And I thank God that he gave us that. And like with me and my son, I'm doing everything I can to make sure he's good. See, we have a whole nother village, you know what I mean, that was always there for us. Whole nother village. And that village came and embraced us and helped us on many levels.
The drama between the late Traci Braxton's husband, Kevin, and the rest of the Braxton family isn't slowing down. With Traci's passing, Kevin is finally opening up about his side of the story and how he claims the Braxtons really treated him. Unsurprisingly, his revelations have the Braxton sisters fired up, and they're now coming at him full force. The first episode of the new Braxton show premiered, and viewers immediately noticed something glaring. Kevin, Traci Braxton's husband, was completely absent. With Traci no longer around, it seemed the sisters didn't feel the need to include him anymore. Watching the episode, I couldn't help but think, wait a minute, that's strange. The first episode heavily focused on Traci's passing, yet Kevin wasn't mentioned or included in any conversations about her. As soon as the episode dropped, Kevin went live on Instagram. He didn't directly call anyone out or air any dirty laundry, but the hints were there. Through careful words, it was clear that he felt fully shut out by the family. Kevin and Traci were one of the few Braxton couples with a strong, long-lasting marriage. They were together for 30 years and married for 25. The other sisters, by contrast, had endured divorces and admitted openly to the struggles in their relationships, including rumors of infidelity. But Kevin and Traci shared a bond built on unwavering love and loyalty. Wherever Traci went, Kevin was by her side, whether at interviews, performances, or in times of need. Even when Traci clashed with her sisters, Kevin was her rock, always ready to support her. Their love was undeniable. He truly was her soulmate.
Since before Traci got sick with Kevin, they don't like her husband. I said that, and this was also in the article on page 6, I said that Traci left everything to her son, made him the executor because she wanted things done a certain way, and she didn't want her sisters to come back and undo what she had planned. So she's, in a way, she kind of predicted what happened.
Tragically, Traci passed away from esophageal cancer. Instead of coming together as a family to honor her memory, the Braxtons became embroiled in a public feud with Kevin, with coverage spilling onto page 6. Kevin held a memorial for Traci, but none of the sisters or their mother attended. Instead, they released a statement claiming Kevin was exploiting their sister and that the memorial wasn't what Traci would have wanted. While I love the Braxton sisters, I have to call this out. Kevin was Traci's immediate family. He and their son had every right to honor her in the way they saw fit, even if the sisters didn't like him. There was even reported drama at the funeral itself. Allegedly, Traci's father was initially denied entry, though an insider said he was recognized and seated in the 4th row. Kevin insists Traci's father and brother were never excluded, and that the sisters and their mother were invited, but chose not to attend. Kevin felt the need to speak out because the media narrative painted him as a bad husband.
My sisters said that I was to them. I'm a sister. I have the same bloodline as all my sisters and brothers. I'm always treated like...
He explained, I was with my wife more than anybody in this world. I know my wife. When she got cancer, we communicated about funeral plans, and I was trying to find treatments for her. I attended every doctor appointment throughout our marriage. Despite inviting the family to Traci's memorial, none of them showed up, choosing instead to hold their own private service without him. Kevin told page 6, I was never invited. No one has sent me any type of invitation. There's clearly a lot happening behind the scenes, and it's hard not to feel that Kevin, who stood by Traci's side through everything, is being unfairly portrayed by the Braxton sisters. Let me be perfectly clear. Traci named
really wants to talk to little Kevin's father because there was a pretty public rift between our side of the family and him, right?
her son as the executor of her estate because she knew her sisters might target Kevin if he were in charge. Her son has stated that he carried out his mother's wishes exactly as she intended, so that should settle the matter, and the family should have just let it be. Traci was often the less celebrated sister on the show, and it was never hard to see how little regard the other Braxtons had for her opinions. Maybe that's why Kevin chose to handle the memorial himself, to show, one last time, just how deeply Traci was loved and cherished. After the memorial, Kevin took time to grieve privately, while it seemed the sisters were turning their grief into content for the new reality series, making Traci's passing part of the storyline. Grief is personal, and everyone processes it differently. Until someone is ready to move forward in their own way, it's important to respect their space. But you can't ignore how painful it must be to be cut off from your own sister. Some insiders have even said, when Traci was alive, they didn't respect or value her. Their guilt kept them from attending her funeral. It's not about the husband. One day, they'll have to deal with that guilt. Tamar reportedly summed it up perfectly about Kevin. Ain't nobody listening to him 'cause nobody respects him. And that seems to be the heart of the problem. The sisters apparently would rather skip their own sister's memorial than let someone they don't like or respect take the lead. Traci spent her life trying to get her sisters to value her, but it seems that effort largely went unappreciated. Fans have noticed that Kevin, who was a central part of Traci's life, was completely absent from the conversation in the show's new episodes. Many see it as disrespectful, especially since he was there through everything: weddings, performances, and of course, supporting Traci until her final days. The fact that he's excluded now speaks volumes. It's also why some speculate Kevin may have been pushed out of the family by none other than Toni. While she hasn't directly said it, her actions on the show seem to confirm her dislike for him. There's also tension between Kevin and Traci's father, which only adds to the strain. Since Traci's passing, the Braxtons appear unwilling to have anything to do with him, showing openly how much they dislike him. Kevin is clearly on the outs, and honestly, it seems the Braxtons were never going to reconcile with him, especially now that Traci isn't there to mediate. They've consistently treated him poorly and never considered him enough for their family. What do you think about all of this? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss the next video to see how this family drama continues to unfold. The drama within the Braxton family continues to dominate headlines, and this time, Toni Braxton has taken aim at the late Traci Braxton's husband, Kevin, for allegedly leaking family secrets. The feud, which has simmered for years, has now escalated to a very public battle, exposing rifts that fans of the Braxtons never fully anticipated. Toni, known for her strong personality and candidness, has publicly criticized Kevin, claiming that his recent revelations about the family are not only disrespectful, but also harmful to their family legacy. While Kevin maintains that he is simply sharing his perspective and telling his side of the story, Toni insists that there are boundaries that should not be crossed, particularly in a family grieving loss of one of its own. Traci Braxton, who tragically passed away from esophageal cancer, was often described as the glue in the family, balancing her relationships with her sisters while maintaining a strong, loving marriage with Kevin. The two were together for 30 years, married for 25, and throughout that time, Kevin was a constant presence in her life, supporting her during performances, interviews, and personal struggles. Fans have always admired the couple's enduring love, especially in contrast to the other Braxton sisters, who have faced divorces and publicized relationship challenges. However, despite the strength of Kevin and Traci's marriage, tensions between him and the rest of the Braxton family reportedly persisted. Kevin claims that after Traci's passing, he has been deliberately excluded from family events and discussions, while the sisters continue to feature her story in the new reality show without acknowledging his role or perspective. According to insiders, the friction began long before Traci's passing. Kevin, who has always been outspoken in his support for his wife, occasionally clashed with the sisters over decisions regarding Traci's personal and professional life. These disagreements, though largely private, became more noticeable after her death, when Kevin began to openly share moments and experiences that many in the family preferred to keep confidential. Toni, in particular, expressed that Kevin's public statements were a betrayal, not only because they included intimate family details, but also because they risked misrepresenting the Braxton family to the public. For Toni, maintaining the family's image and honoring Traci's memory in a controlled and respectful manner is of utmost importance, and Kevin's disclosures challenged that control. One major point of contention involves the management of Traci's estate. Before her passing, Traci had named her son as the executor, reportedly because she feared her sisters would target Kevin if he were given that responsibility. Her son has stated that he carried out her wishes exactly as she intended, yet the sisters' public portrayal of Kevin has made it seem as if he is an outsider trying to undermine the family. Kevin, on the other hand, argues that he has always acted in accordance with Traci's desires and that his role in her life, and now her legacy, cannot simply be erased. The tension between Toni and Kevin thus represents not just personal animosity, but also a deeper conflict over who has the authority to speak for Traci and manage her memory. Fans watching the unfolding drama have weighed in heavily on social media, with many expressing sympathy for Kevin, who appears to be grieving privately while facing criticism from his late wife's family. Observers note that Kevin's absence from the new reality show's conversations about Traci is glaring, given how integral he was to her life. Social media commentary has highlighted that his exclusion speaks volumes about the current state of the Braxton family dynamics. Meanwhile, Toni's critiques are framed as protective, aimed at preserving both Traci's legacy and the cohesion of the family unit. This clash between public statements, private grief, and family loyalty has kept the story trending, with fans debating who is in the right and whether reconciliation is even possible. Traci's memorial also became a flashpoint in the controversy. Kevin reportedly held the service to honor his wife's life and contributions, but none of the sisters attended, instead issuing statements accusing him of exploiting the event for personal gain. Toni and the others chose to hold a separate private memorial, which Kevin was not invited to attend. This sequence of events intensified the rift, as it appeared to the public that the family's grievances were overshadowing the collective mourning for Traci. Kevin, however, maintained that his goal was simply to celebrate the love he shared with his wife and to honor her wishes, regardless of the family's involvement or disapproval. The situation has only been amplified by social media, where both fans and insiders dissect every development. Comments highlight that Kevin consistently stood by Traci, attending every doctor appointment, supporting her performances, and advocating for her needs. Critics argue that the sisters' decision to portray him as a disruptive force in the family narrative is unfair and undermines the decades of dedication he showed to Traci. Toni, meanwhile, is portrayed as the defender of family integrity, though some question whether her approach has been too confrontational. The combination of grief, unresolved tension, and public exposure has created a volatile environment, with no clear resolution in sight. Kevin has also responded to accusations that he leaked family secrets maliciously, insisting that his intention was never to harm the Braxtons, but to share his authentic experience as Traci's husband. He emphasizes that he and Traci shared a unique bond, one that was built on transparency, support, and love, and that excluding him from the family narrative diminishes that reality. While Toni criticizes him for bringing private matters to the public, Kevin argues that his perspective is equally valid and deserves to be acknowledged, particularly since he played a central role in Traci's life. The conflict thus revolves around the intersection of grief, storytelling, and differing perceptions of loyalty and respect. Throughout all of this, the public has become heavily invested in the feud, debating everything from the sisters' decision to exclude Kevin from show storylines to Toni's confrontational approach. The discourse has prompted broader conversations about family loyalty, the ethics of reality television, and the way grief is processed in the public eye. Many viewers empathize with Kevin, noting that his efforts to honor his wife should be recognized rather than criticized, while others sympathize with Toni, recognizing her desire to protect her family's reputation and ensure that Traci's memory is treated with care. Ultimately, the feud between Toni Braxton and Kevin, Traci's widower, highlights the complexity of grief within high-profile families. It exposes how differing perspectives, Unresolved tensions and public scrutiny can magnify conflicts that might otherwise remain private. While Kevin continues to assert his role as a devoted husband and advocate for Traci's legacy, Toni and the sisters maintain that boundaries must be respected and that some matters should remain within the family. For fans and observers, the situation offers a raw and emotional glimpse into the challenges of balancing family loyalty, personal grief, and the pressures of public life.